So it's now a great honor to welcome to the stage Dr. Sathya Menon, Group CEO of Blue Ocean Corporation.
So the topic which I'm going to speak is about robotics and supply chain. Now, I want to tell you a small story about myself. I've been teaching for a long time. So around 2015, the word robotics and AI started becoming popular. So people started asking questions. What is AI? How it is going to impact people in procurement and supply chain? So I decided to take a course. I went to MIT, US, and I did a program, executive management program in AI. Thinking, okay, something new is coming. People are still researching. And what I learned was very scary. Scary in the sense, what in 2015 and 16, what we know about AI has been already researched, applied in big industries, especially in defense. What we were seeing is only the commercial application now, where it is becoming more affordable to the business. So almost 9 years later, we are seeing the advent of so many AI tools. Today, majority of the negotiations in Amazon is done by bots. Things are changing drastically, but there is always a slimmer of hope whenever things change so fast. When technology has changed so fast, human beings have adapted and we have been ahead of the technology, barring in certain areas. My topic is saving Earth. Can AI and robots save Earth? So let's take a look at it. Industry 4.0. We have passed through the industrial age, which has spoiled the planet. We have been taking during the industrial age. Then, from the industrial age, we came to the information age. Now, the information age was a beautiful age. We were able to acquire a lot of information. We were able to, because of this information age, today we were able to create the foundation for the artificial intelligence and the robotics. We acquired a lot of knowledge during the industrial age, during the information age. But during both these periods, the planet has gone through a drastic degradation. Now, we are entering into an age of robotics and artificial intelligence. Along with it, people predict we will be entering into an age of sustainability. So sustainability, artificial intelligence, and robotics are going to go hand in hand, which is the next age, possibly which might last 10 years, 15 years, nobody can predict, but that's what the estimation the industry experts are giving out. So, the system, what we built during the industrial age, was never built to last. So the traditional supply chain flow, what we have been doing so far, is it take, make, and use, and then dispose, without any scant respect for the environment. So what happens to the end product in a supply chain? So there are basically 4 types of supply chain. The first one is the linear supply chain, which we have been, I think, possibly 60–70% of the supply chains today are linear. The end product gets disposed of in a landfill. Or if it's a single-use plastic, it might get into the ocean. Or if it's a laptop or a mobile phone, again, it gets down as an e-waste, and majority of the times it gets shipped to some third world countries. So that's what we are following. So now there is a big shift from the linear supply chain. Companies are going towards closed-loop supply chain, where the original product returns to the original manufacturer. They disassemble the products like Apple is doing for the iPhones using the DC bot. So every single component, whether it's batteries, screws, the aluminum cases, etc., everything is going back to the factory, and they are making new iPhones out of it. So that's a closed-loop supply chain. Regenerative supply chain. It's again a linear flow, but the end product becomes a biodegradable waste which will add or which will fertilize the soil or the air. Depends upon what kind of product you are using. So a product which cannot be recycled, which cannot go back to the origin, has to be regenerative product. Circular supply chain goes back, or it can go in between an intermediary phase, and the products can get disassembled and go to different manufacturers to make multiple products. For example, I heard recently, I just came back from Copenhagen, I walked into a store which is written upcycling. So I said, wow, we have seen recycling, we are seeing closed loop. What is upcycling? What they are doing? So they are taking the old bags of big brands, okay, it was like a boutique shop, and they are recreating. So even a bag from Hermes, which you get when you go and buy any product, they are recycling and making it attractive than the original Hermes bag and selling it at some value. So they said that we are doing upcycling for a lot of products, so we go collect these products. So it can be a circular supply chain. So the goods are not going back into the landfill, but they are getting reused. So as supply chain professionals, as procurement people, where do we see ourselves in this entire regenerative or circular journey? We have to be involved right from the product design. A product which is designed not for sustainability, not for circularity, which cannot be reused, which cannot be in a regenerative state, we should be identified right from the beginning. So whenever your design organization or the manufacturing companies, you are in collaboration with the procurement team or the supply chain team, you should be able to influence those decision makings. Now, where the companies fail, because whenever we talk about a reuse or a recycled product or a regenerative product, the costs are going to be high. That is the biggest bottleneck I've seen, even though there are regulatory pressures, like I said before. But when it comes to the cost, every organization exists to make profits. So how we can look at a cost-effective solution, how the cost can be lesser when you send the goods back to the origin for recycling or for reusing. So that's where a supply chain person has to apply his mind. So we are shifting from a traditional supply chain to transformational supply chains. So today's supply chain are no longer about efficiency. Supply chains have to be responsible. It's very easy to talk about circularity, reuse, closed-loop supply chains. But with the current thought process of what we have as human beings, it is very difficult to implement such systems because one, it's costly, like I said, and second is the thought process what we have. How fast can we think? How fast can we compute the data? So that's why technology is very important. So that's where robotics comes in. So this is what the topic what I'm going to speak on. So the power of 30, I'm sure many of you would have heard. If I walk 15 steps up and 15 steps down, how many steps would I walked? 30 steps, 15 up and 15 down. Now, you multiply every step with 2. For example, I take one step, it's 2. The second step is 4. Can anyone guess how many steps I would have taken when I take 15 plus 15, when you count it exponentially? It's mind-boggling, ladies and gentlemen. So 15 plus 15 is 30, which is linear thinking. But when we think exponentially, it's a distance from Earth to Moon and back. Now tell me, human beings, we cannot comprehend this data because this is exponential. Now we are in the era of big data. There is so much of data processing coming in. We cannot think because we are except some possibly mathematical geniuses, we are programmed to think linear. We are not programmed to think exponential. So that's why artificial intelligence and robotics comes into picture. They can process a huge amount of data in a short span of time. So that is the difference which the robots are going to bring into this sustainable economy, what we are talking for the future. So robots will be there in sorting, recycling. We have autonomous vehicles for reverse logistics. Robotics for demand sensing and inventory optimization. So like I said before, you produce only what is required. Predictive AI, which predicts, or the demand forecasting accuracy is going to be very high. So the different types of robots, drone robotics, we know, warehouse robots is in use for, I think, long time by Alibaba, Amazon. They are using warehouse robots. Yeah, the last mile delivery robots like FedEx, they are going to become popular. Recycling and waste sorting. So this is one of the key area for a circular economy. If it's a human being, it might take us ages to do this sorting. So robotics powered by AI vision systems achieves high material identification accuracy. Now, electronic waste is considered to be another big area where we are going to face a big trouble. So Apple has come out with Daisy Bot. If a Daisy Bot recycles 1 metric ton of Apple iPhone parts, it can prevent the mining of 2,000 metric ton of mining a rock. So that is the impact which is going to create the robots. So it's not about replacing humans, it's about reducing human error. Okay, you make a lot of robots, but again, if the robots becomes an e-waste, the entire purpose will get, defeated. So whenever the robot systems are made, or mechanization systems are made, or AI systems, you need to make sure it is recyclable. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Ben, for inviting me for this conference. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.